much. Hello,
Hey
Shawn.
guys, what's up? Hey, how's it going?
Hey, it's nice to meet
Hello.
you.
Hey, likewise, man.
Right.
Right.
So we're all here now. Woohoo!
Yeah. So tell me, what are we doing today?
So today we're gonna be discussing supersonic jets and the Italian ground
Okay.
forces texture because that's
All right.
that's the source of this patch coming.
Right.
But I think
okay.
yeah, I think we're gonna start off with introductions first, just so people get to get to know you more in case they don't actually know who you are. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, no
yeah,
problem.
so if you'd like to introduce yourself first, Shawn, I feel like you would be a good place to
Nah,
start.
it's fine. I'll just tell him I'm some guy. I'm some guy running
He's
Gaijin streams. It's fine. I get enough attention. Trust me.
Yeah, he's some guy that just, he sits there and talks during a War Thunder stream.
Yeah. I just I happen to barge in Gaijin's office every week to do that. So
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. He's the quote-unquote voice of Thunder Show.
Yeah. That's
You,
true.
I believe you used to do the shooting range, too.
I did first 50 episodes of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
And then they got Bruce and he stole your shine.
Nah, it's fine. He's really a better match for that particular project. So I was actually totally in favor of bringing Bruce on board. So
Yeah.
it's a good match. It's a good
Um,
match because it's that project is not made in house in terms of it's produced by a separate company.
okay.
In terms of like Thunder Show, Crossout Show, we make in house. So I'm actually one of the co-producers for both of them.
Ooh.
But the shooting range is made by an outside company, the company that I used to work with before I joined up with Gaijin. So yeah, it's small world and video games and stuff. So
That's alright.
yeah,
I was hoping to get Bruce in on one of these at some point, but I think his availability is going to be extremely limited.
he doesn't play the game. You have to understand that he's
Yeah.
just he apart from War Thunder, he works for like a dozen other different projects. But that's like the only video game project he's working on, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But he's like he voices like a bunch of stuff.
He does lots of
Narrates a bunch of stuff.
narrations
yeah,
and voice
yeah.
acting and
Yeah,
other bits and pieces
that's,
like that.
that's what he does. Yeah, but you have to understand he doesn't play the game. So
Yeah, that's fair enough. You don't have to play the game to come on here. It's just kind of introducing stuff and then talking about stuff.
yeah, I know. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
asking him anything about the game would be pointless. So
Oh, I could talk to him about hurricanes.
yeah, I guess. Yeah.
That's a topic for
Yeah.
another time though, because I think you covered that in a previous Thunder stream.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But
We
yeah,
we had an episode about that, I think. Like last year. Was it last year?
I think it was earlier this year because I remember watching it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're starting in like what, 4 minutes?
We
Yep.
already started.
Well, I mean,
We already started. Oh, that's
we've-
it.
We've,
Okay.
we've already started, but I was hoping to get you here
Alright.
before that sit time.
Okay. All right.
That
got
was
it.
the idea. But yeah, so we've got Shawn, the voice of
Yeah.
Thundershot, and we've got Stona, who's
Hi.
I guess he's the head forum mod / community manager for the stuff.
Stona's
Stona.
cool.
Stona's
Stona's
cool.
cool.
I like
like-
Stona. Stona's awesome.
I mean, if there is someone who don't like me, I ban him. So it's like you have no choice.
Yeah, it's preferable that you like him. Yeah. that's
Yeah.
true. So where's the chat at? Where do I?
Where's the chat at?
you
I'll link you. One
communicate with the
second.
chat. Yeah, please. Because that's like I feel like I'm like sitting in the jar, totally isolated.
Don't worry. There's not much in the jar when I'm streaming.
Okay.
I'm
Fine.
not the most popular
That's
guy,
it.
but
It's all right. You'll get there. Trust me. You
one day.
once you if you okay, 22 viewers. Yeah, that's not a lot. It's fine. Do you want to have more viewers? I can go call some of my guys, dude.
Yeah, if you want to call some people in, go for it. I mean, the whole idea was I'm not too fussed about my growth, but I think people would really like to see this kind of podcasting on the War Thunder official channel as opposed to here. Kind of introducing stuff to the content creators and getting those two to talk and discuss bits and pieces of the game in a bit more of a
Okay.
connected way.
It's just next time as a when you bring somebody in the show, you tell them, okay, we're live. Okay, we're going live, right?
Oh yeah, I'll keep that.
Next time, you better do that.
I was waiting till you tell something you shouldn't, you know.
We're going
No,
live.
I didn't really say anything I shouldn't have,
Yeah,
but I could have. So and it's very nice to know that we are live because I thought that this is like a pre-stream thing going on. All right, anyway.
That's all right. It definitely would help you guys if I said, we're live now instead of just being like,
yeah.
But yeah,
just the thought, next time,
for future things, I can do that.
Yeah, for future things, that's really a good idea. Okay, so what are we talking about tonight?
So tonight, it depends.
Where are you based at?
I'm in New Zealand.
Okay, so it's probably nighttime for you, right?
It's the exact opposite time of your time.
So it's
okay.
Yeah, so it's midnight.
It is nighttime. All right, fine. Well, hey guys, hi. Thank you for coming to. Hold on a sec. Collisions IA Twitch Twitch channel. What's up?
It's a better attempt than most. I'll give you that. It's just full correction. It's collusion.
Collusion. Okay. All right.
Sorry. I've been called worse, so it's fine.
It's easy. It's easy to get confused in all these nicknames people come up with on the internet.
There's some horrible ones out there.
Yeah,
I know that for a fact.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna steal your show.
No, it's totally all right. You're fully welcome to if you have things to say and whatnot. But
yeah. Go ahead.
It's all right.
It's your show. It's your show. Yeah.
So yeah, the topic of the day, as I said, was supersonic jets and Italian tanks coming. Everybody's super hyped, and some people are not so much hyped for those. But we're gonna stay on the positive side of everything. That's what we're about here. So let's get your thoughts. What do you guys think of the supersonic jets coming to War Thunder and opening up rank 6 jets as a whole?
Stonky, you want to go first? I can go first.
I can because I don't like jets, so I will just say jets have no soul, and that's all.
Well, actually, I tend to agree because I'm not a huge proponent of jet aircraft because gameplay over there is so fast. I mean, I like fast, but it's just like you mess up once and you're dead. Pretty much, there's like no recourse for your mistakes when you're fighting in jet aircraft. And I think with introduction of supersonic jet aircraft, it's going to be even more so because, it's so much faster. That's why I prefer propeller aircraft, piston engine aircraft, because even if you mess up, there's still room to maneuver, which is not exactly the case with jet aircraft. Or maybe I just suck with jet aircraft. And
yeah, I think
that's the way I see it.
Not the gameplay fault,
Yeah, maybe that's part of it, me not being like the greatest jet pilot ever. But then again, maybe that speed gap between supersonic jets and just regular jets, maybe that's going to fix everything. And then again, since we're bringing on board guided missiles, right? With I think they're infrared missiles in terms of like they home in on your engine. The heat-seeking missiles. That's right. So those, maybe they can tip the scales. It's hard to say. I haven't played internal testing. I heard about it not very long ago that we are gonna bring it this patch, and I was really surprised. I did not know it would happen. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of us knew it was gonna happen. It was just kind of this big shock. It's like, whoa, those are tier 5 jet premiums, and it's like, oh god, here comes the supersonic jets.
That's the thing. As with most things introduced to War Thunder, it will take time to actually fully mature and fully develop because we have helicopters, we have ships, but they're still, pretty early on in terms of them being implemented fully into the game. Like ships are in open beta, helicopters in open beta. Same thing. They're far from final quality, and a lot of people fail to understand that. But they're still not ready. Basically, we're testing them. Wow, that's a pretty. You gotta. I see an aircraft carrier with a German destroyer on top of it. That's interesting. So anyway, well, I guess it's just we're gonna have to wait we're just gonna have to wait and see how things turn up with supersonic jets. It will take time. I have utmost confidence that our devs will, make it work. But how long that will take, that's a different question. Not for me to answer.
It seemed like it was really with everything. I mean, if you remember when we started with tanks, it was same, just two branch, not much content, but look at it now. It's like huge amount of vehicles, huge amount of type of gameplays. It just need time. People just need to understand.
Yeah.
I think we'll definitely see some results and other bits and pieces like that when the dev server arrives and everybody's got access to kind of test these things out and play around with them. Experience them.
Yeah. It's just give it time. Just give it time. I'm sure we can get it to work, but when and how, that remains to be seen. How long? But it's gonna work. But when? That's another question.
Yeah, who knows at the moment? And as far as I know, the first 3 countries to get supersonic jets are America, Britain, and Russia.
Yeah,
I believe. I don't know if there's more in there and they're hiding them, or, I don't know. But we'll find out when the dev server drops, and that'll give us more info.
Me neither, because I, to be honest, I found out that we're bringing supersonic jets right before the latest Thunderstream. Right, like 5 minutes before, I've been told that, look, okay, we're bringing supersonic jets, just don't tell anyone. I'm like, why the hell did you tell me? I mean, what's the damn point? I'm like, okay, I'm not going to tell anyone, but yeah, so, and then one day later, the dev blog comes out and like, hey, we're bringing supersonic jets, I'm like, wow, yeah, great, I get to know it like a day before.
Yeah, I think that's the most case with a lot of things, really, is it doesn't kind of matter who you are in the community unless you're, either Shawn or Stona or something, but, we don't know things till, 30 minutes before they happen. The same time as not community managers, but like content creators. Mm-hmm. Just send that link to me, Stona, and I can post it, because Twitch has decided that I'm not allowed links in my chat.
There's a question from the chat. Thunderpants HD says, if you take questions from the chat, just wondering how much Pups and Stone actually play the game in their spare time instead of for work. Well, I can tell you, I play War Thunder, I don't know, about 10 to 15 hours a week, outside work. Actually, at work, I only play it during, Thunderstream. So, actually, most of the time, I play the game outside work, because there's very little for me to do with the game that relates to my work. I just have to play it. I feel that I have to play it just to be on the same page with what's going on with the game. I need to stay updated. So basically, I need to spread my time evenly, amongst game modes and vehicle types and stuff. I have to play everything just to get a bearing of what's going on in the game and stay updated. But if I could, I would just play, ships now. If I could, I would just play ships 24/7. If I had time, I would solely dedicate myself to that, and Air RB probably. Yeah. But I have to mix and match and play everything just to know what's going on.
Yeah, because I imagine you're quite busy with everything you do for Gaijin and just possibly for other countries as well.
Yeah. I work for Gaijin basically like 2 days a week. So, you can consider me like a part-time, employee of Gaijin.
Part-time streamer.
I've been working. Yeah. No. I'm not a streamer. I'm a co-producer of Thunder Show and Crossout Show. So that's actually my main job, and streaming it's an extra that I do. I got like my other main work, which happens to be live streaming. I actually do live streaming for a living. And for the past 2 years, it got really big for me in terms of that. I began making, good money with live streaming for my own personal channel. But don't try looking for me, because I do this exclusively in Russian. So I've live stream exclusively in Russian.
I can say that because I did drop into one of your streams. I think it was a Dark Souls stream, and it was cool. but I couldn't understand anything, so I was like, okay, I'll give you a follow, but then I probably will kind of just like...
Yeah, it's funny. It just kind of blew up for me. I don't know, less than 2 years ago. My channel was like, what, 25,000 subscribers, something like that. It was much smaller, even though I've been doing videos on YouTube since like 2012. But in 2 years, it got to 74,000. So
that's not bad.
It's growing pretty fast. Yeah, it's actually. I think that I'm gonna reach 100,000 subscribers in like, I don't know, 3 to 4 months from now. So.
He's gonna celebrate that 100K.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
But yeah, it's always a good milestone.
So that's actually my main job, and Gaijin is like part-time work that I do. So yeah.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Stona. So what about you, man? About playing the game? Sorry, I can talk a lot.
Yeah, I know.
That's alright.
That's my job, man. You know, that's how I get by. I talk.
From what I see on Steam, I play like randomly 1 hour per day, and it's like some few battles, let's say, at least few battles daily. But I'm not playing in Sunday, I think, because there is always one day in a week I do not play War Thunder because I cannot simply play it every day because it will be. And yeah, most probably another, I don't know, 10 hours I spend on dev server, creating screenshots for articles and all that stuff you see in Warbond shop, in decal, screenshots with decals on vehicles. All are made by me because I like to do it. So yeah, I think it will be like more or less 1.5 hour daily. It's like since 2012, I got like 5,000 hours already. So yeah, it's my second life, let's say.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And one more thing, people sometimes ask me my favorite vehicle or something like that, and I always say I don't have it because I am the guy who needs to ace all the vehicles one by one. So I play, let's say, one vehicle, I max it, so I spade it, and I jump to another one in a line. So usually I'm like, new branch is added, people are, yeah, we have new vehicles, yeah, and I'm like, oh my god, now I have 10 more vehicles to spade, and I'm like, it's hard, but yeah, that's how I play War Thunder.
Okay,
that's alright.
All right, we're gonna give your channel a little boost here.
A little boost.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Just give me a few minutes.
Then just watch the view count jump up.
Random bots from China.
No, I don't do that. Hold on. Just give me a few minutes. Just go ahead, guys.
That's all right.
Oh, you are creating... I know what he's doing. He's creating alt Twitch accounts, and he will just log in.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, support.
Smart.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So, on that note, what do you specifically Stona, because you're more integral to the War Thunder community? I know Shawn does streams and all that, but you kind of keep the bunch together. You keep the forum mods together. You keep most of us out of trouble to some degree. But what are you known for in the community? Like, what's your claim to fame, or even claim to infamy, for that matter?
In community of War Thunder, I'm the one who is commenting with edgy jokes and banning people on the forum because, of course, in their way of seeing it, because they are telling the truth. But usually, people who say that, it's like someone who is telling the truth in the way he shouldn't tell anything to anyone, swearing, insulting. That's the telling the truth. So I'm usually the one who jump in when things are getting really bad and just ban few of them to keep calm.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm the bad one on the forum, let's say.
Don't worry, I've heard my fair share of rumors about you, Stona, but most of them aren't true.
I mean, it's not a problem for me. I mean, I do not treat internet really serious, so it's not like I get it to myself. It's not like I'm just joking.
That's alright. I think a lot of people miss the fact that, when you're pointing something out that it's a joke, they kind of don't take it in as a joke and they're like, oh, that's...
Sadly, yeah. But
yeah.
What can you do? It's internet, so...
It's the internet. It's a big sea, and there's lots of fish, and some of them just don't swim the right way.
Pretty much.
But yeah. The recent big boom and craze, aside from, being supersonic jets and whatnot, was the Italian tank actually finally getting announced, and there's quite a few interesting ones there I noticed, like the B1 Centauro and the... Oh, I forgot the name. Is it the Brera 105 SPG? I think it is.
The Brera 501. Oh yes.
It's
I like dinky weird vehicles like that. I play this game for those weird machines. I love that.
It will be another ugly duckling like the British one, and there are a few of that kind of strange vehicles.
It looks ugly, but guys, 90 mils, and that's nothing, to be laughing about. That's a serious gun.
Is it a 90 millimeter gun?
It's 90. Yeah, it's 90.
Yeah, 90.
90 mil, and that's a lot. That's actually bigger than what Tiger's got. So,
yeah.
Damn, the big gun.
Tiger's got.
Riffraff was kind enough to give Stona a tier 1 sub.
Oh, thank you.
I don't think he's ever going to use it, but thank you nonetheless.
I don't know how to use it, but I will learn.
It's you basically just get a fancy little badge next to your name in the chat.
Oh, let me check.
It should be a kiwi fruit. Okay, never mind. They took away my sub badges. I'm gonna have to re-add those at some point. But you do get an emote.
Thank you.
Whenever you want to use that. Riffraff, what's Shawn's name? Twitch name?
I don't stream on Twitch for past 6 or months or so. I totally quit Twitch. I moved on to YouTube. So I don't do Twitch no longer. I have an account, but I don't use it.
Oh, somebody pointed out it's not the Breda 105 that I said. It's the Breda 501. My bad.
Yeah, it's a 501. Yeah.
Okay, I keep reading it as 105 because I assumed that the 105 was the caliber, but no, it's 501 with the 90mm. Okay, I'll keep that engraved in my memory for next time. I'm gonna butcher this one. Is it the Cairo? It's the M41. It's the Cairo.
That's little one?
Yeah.
Let me check.
I believe it's got a 47mm gun. One of the earlier ones.
M1441.
Yeah, that's it. I don't wanna.
It got 47. I got plastic model of it, so I really like that vehicle.
Okay.
Is that why it's one of the first tip blocks?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the first. It was like.
Oh, M1441. Okay,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, the another dinky Italian tank. There it is. See it.
Yeah.
It's alright. I like tanks like this. This really reminds me of most of Japanese tanks in the tech tree.
Exactly.
I'm looking at it, just like it's really hard telling them apart. Italian tanks and Japanese tanks got a lot in common. First of all, they really like their rivets. Rivets. Go. Everything's riveted.
Rivets are appealing, but not effective, I should say.
No, it's not. No.
One tank
Historically,
onto that and...
Yeah, like a good hit on a riveted plate of armor can actually make rivets fly out like bullets. And there are historical reports of people getting shot with rivets and getting injured. Not killed, but people got penetrated by them rivets coming up a tank that took a hit. So I would not like to stand next to a riveted tank back in 40s when it's getting shot. It's a bad idea. I would not do that.
Yeah. The riveted tanks have that kind of, I guess, in a sense, early tank design feel. with the rivets on there, and they're all exposed and whatnot. The later tanks, like the T-34, don't really have that.
It's cheaper. It's cheaper to use rivets instead of welding the plates together, because you need a lot less. You need a lot less equipment to build that, so it's cheaper.
Yeah.
It's cheaper, and you can produce more of them. That's why, it's. I guess it pays off to have 2 riveted tanks than than 1 welded tank, I suppose. So, quantity has its own quality. So
yeah, that's true. Tassos asked the question: is there anything about new game modes, or game mods, or game mode changes? New vehicles are well and good, but no matter how many of them, or new maps, problems like spawn camping and cap rushing and many more won't change. Well, I can answer the spawn camping part first off. Spawn camping's not, or this is my opinion, take this with a grain of salt. The spawn camping is not a Gaijin thing that should be top of their list to fix. When you get spawn camped in-game, it's generally because somebody spent their time flanking around into your spawn to shoot people, or, your team has crumbled under the enemy's might and they've just pushed straight into your spawn. There's really not too much you can do about that. Gaijin has tried to help with that in the past by, adding a 10-second spawn timer and swapping spawns around a wee bit, but there's no definitive way you can completely fix spawn camping in my opinion.
I'm not a game designer or game dev, so I have no influence on that. But yeah, my opinion as a player is, if I see that team is losing because spawn camping it means that they lose earlier. Spawn camping is just something that happened after you already lost the battle. And
pretty much, yeah.
I mean, what can we do? People always look at the problem from one side, from people who are in spawn and die. And if we will give them enough protection, we will end with people sitting on spawn and just killing anyone around because they will be protected. I play multiplayer game, online multiplayer game since, 20 few years. And it was always, let's say, problem in each war game. Like, I remember Battlefield and
the Battlefield, especially Battlefield. Even today, you spawn and you get shot in the dick. I mean, the next second.
I don't know if you played Battlefield on. It was, I think, Battlefield 3 or Battlefield Bad Company 2 on private servers where they get special spawn protection. It was like, if someone kill you on spawn, he died, not you. And on the start, people was, it's a great idea. But it ends, half of the team sit on the spawn, camping with sniper rifles and just killing people who are outside the spawn. It was so silly. And that's why I always try to check the other side. If people putting a suggestion forum that I have a great idea how to remove spawn camper problem, I always try to look from the other side. If we will do this, what will happen to other side of the team? And I cannot find any good solution for that. So I think if Dev will know that solution, they will implement it. We already have, as you mentioned, that 10-second or it's 8-second protection. We have that map marking. If you come too close to the spawn point, you will be visible on map. It's already working, at least for me, because if I want to spawn first, usually you get 2 spawn points. You can check where is the enemy and spawn in a proper place or in an aircraft. But yeah, I don't see spawn camping as a problem that can be solved by game mechanics. Really, if someone get really good idea, feel free to post it. We will discuss it. But I do not see such mechanic.
Yeah, there's a multitude of problems that people bring, even to me. I've had loads of people bring off issues to me, but it's not all issues are Gaijin issues. Some of them are just people that need to learn to do things correctly. I don't like to say that in most cases, but, there's user error as well as bugs and other bits and pieces here. But the second part of the question was, and what about cap rushing, or capture point rushing? I'm assuming with light tanks and, any sort of fast vehicle rushing a capture point and not letting the team get the cap.
What is the main goal for battle? You have two options to win battle: kill all enemies or get cap points and win by tickets, right? So if someone is capping point instead of dying at the start, it's bad or what?
Yeah, I really don't understand that. Some people get upset about someone capturing the point, not waiting on them. And the funny thing is, most of the time, when you cap a point without waiting on someone, I actually used to do that a lot. I used to play lighter vehicles like M22 Locust and stuff, and I used to cap points a lot. And then later on, it got this stigma of like, whoa, you're not sharing points, oh, you're an asshole, let's shoot you. And I got shot so many times for just capping points. I'm like, you fools, I'm trying to win the battle. What the hell's your problem? I mean, not everyone's supposed to cap. I mean, if you're in a heavy tank, why the hell am I supposed to wait for you? Go kill enemy players. I'm here. I'm just going to cap the points. And I'm actually doing you a favor because I'm luring enemies in with my light tank. I go in. I start capping. I'm all exposed there. I can get shot any second. Light tanks usually can't really, take a hit. Yeah. So, and I'm actually trying to help the team. Then again, this is the perfect opportunity for medium tanks to outflank whatever's coming to kill the light tanks on the cap. It's just that, people, a lot of people got this, one-track mind, this tunnel vision in terms of combat. We got to capture this together. No, you don't. Let the light tanks do that. Let the medium tanks outflank whatever's coming to counterattack the light tanks on the cap, and then let the heavies take the brunt of the battle. Just let them take hits and shoot back. So for me, this is how I see it. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, which is fair enough. To each their own. And my opinion of it is, if depending on the map, if it's a map where certain caps are closer to a spawn, then I'll wait for my team. But if it's a map where all the caps are equally as far away, then I'll rush out and cap it. Because if I rush out there and cap it, I'm going to be the target, because, on the map it's going to be showing me capping that zone. And people are going to be like, oh, there's an enemy there, I'll go kill him, and... yeah.
Yep.
But, to finish off that question, Tesla says, are there any new game modes or game mode changes coming in the works? That's completely beyond me. It's probably not something they can answer either, I imagine.
Not something I can talk about, yeah.
Yeah, I mean... the last thing we mentioned was that new game mode for Navy with that breaking points, but it was like, I don't know, a week or 2 weeks. But we cannot, most probably we do not know even. We do not know, but we cannot, reveal something that was not in devlog or was not announced yet. We would like to, but first we cannot. Second, usually we do not even know that. So,
hey, Mishka, I see you in the chat.
Yep.
There's a reason why we don't disclose stuff that's not announced, because stuff is subject to change. So if we announce something and then a couple of days later, after internal testing, we find out that it doesn't work, then people will get upset that we announced point A and then change it to point B. So it's a lot safer just to do as much testing as possible, make absolutely sure that you're doing this, and then present it. And people sometimes fail to understand that game development takes time, and actually lots of it. So there's just no reason to announce something that's half baked or it's not set in stone.
Yeah, that's another problem. If we'll say something like we have plans or we are testing something, people read it as you just promised. That's another big problem with saying something, before we really have to show it. It's like we, let's say, test, I don't know, some random catapults, and we will say we are testing that gameplay, blah blah. And in half year, someone will jump in and say, you just disappoint me because you promise that gameplay in a game and you never deliver it. It's another problem with announcing something too earlier,
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's a big reason of why publicly community managers and the like don't want to just straight up announce something or promise things, I should say, because it may happen, it may not happen, and down the line,
Yeah,
the only one that's going to get hurt
dangerous.
is the
Very
fan
dangerous.
base.
Yeah, it's very dangerous to do.
Instead of biting,
announcing something and then not putting it in a game. So
yeah, it's best to dodge the bullet entirely than try to bite it. But yeah, I saw a question up here. CF General asks why teams don't. Gonna try and structure this a little bit better, but how come teams don't have rearm areas near spawn points on maps with cap points in the center? So, say Conquest, where there's only one cap in the center of the map.
I'm guessing, because, as I said, no game designer, because it will make battle slower. I mean, right now, you just need to go to that cap. If you do not have ammo, you need to go and try to cap it and rearm there. If you will have option to move back, you will make battle slower and people will have less targets. I mean, I'm guessing here, but that's how I see it.
I mean, I can get behind that, Having one cap and only one place to rearm forces teams to really fight over that point for the ability to rearm their vehicle. And then continue
we need to, let's say, force somehow players to fight, not to hiding behind the bushes all the time and so on. So I think it's the way to force people to move forward and fight each other instead of camping, I don't know, half kilometer away behind the rock and waiting. Maybe someone will just, move half meter forward and now I will kill him. It will be just boring. For me, it's for me because that's how I see it.
Yeah. And in the case that you're running out of ammo in the middle of a conquest battle, it's a lesson learned. Just bring extra ammo next time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm usually getting like 20 shells or something because I will die earlier before I will spend all of them. But still, if I will be great and I will, I don't know, 2 battles in a row, 3 battles in a row, I will notice that, I don't have any more ammo. I will think, okay, I will take 5 shells more. That's, I mean, it's a game. I can die, respawn, and play again. It's not like I have 1 life and next time I need to create new account and so on.
Star's asking, but doesn't this ruin the game of tanks design, or I guess it would be the doctrine of tanks that are designed to sit in the back and shoot at people?
Yeah, but there are, as Shawn said, there are different type of tanks. We have heavy tanks, we have tank destroyers, we have medium tanks, light tanks, and usually people just play all of them in same way. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the major problem. People can understand that. Well, some people. It's just like, I guess, like every second player, fails to understand that. Occasionally, again, this is not set in stone. Sometimes people, like, depending on the map, which is more advantageous for them, they can choose to play a Tiger, which is a heavy tank. They try to play it as a light tank, go rush the point, which is dubious in my opinion. And it's really, that depends on the person and the map. It's just like kind of flexible psychology going on there behind the scenes. Whereas every vehicle, when you play a certain vehicle, you have to make sure that you're maximizing all of its potential, not just for your own personal gain, but for the team, right? So if you got a heavy tank, if you got a tank destroyer, these are 2 very different vehicles. A tank destroyer supposed to stay out in the back, and if you want to play tanks how they're deployed in like actual combat, like the closest you can get to it in the game, it's probably playing tank destroyers, because they sit out in the back and they trade shots over long range. If you want to be surrounded by the enemy, play a heavy tank, right? Learn how to use its armor, learn how to angle that armor, take the shots, and then you can actually get a lot of experience and a lot of alliance simply by taking hits and surviving. Actually, I leveled up a couple of tanks just, tanking the shots, just being the tank, basically. And then medium tanks are great for outflanking, and light tanks are great for recon and capturing points, just drop artillery, and then again, they're pretty good for taking out SPGs, because SPGs are usually sluggish. They don't have a turret. So, and then again, they have very little in terms of armor. So you just can get close, hunt them, and kill them. So if only in the perfect world, you can have every player play his vehicle type the way it's supposed to be played, right? It would be amazing. But, you know, this is not a perfect world. People play tanks in the same way, be it an SPG, a light tank, a heavy tank. More often than not, people just rush forward. That's it, you know, in the straight line, which is sad. They can get so much more out of their vehicles if only they can adapt, you know, to every vehicle type. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry, go.
I was just gonna give a scenario. Like, for example, today I was playing my Chaffee in my lineup I have currently on Berlin, and I had a friendly martyr sitting down in the riverbed shooting up at a Sherman that was camping at the back of the map. He ended up getting disabled, so, you know, I decided, you know, it's a good time to try and be a good Samaritan. So, you know, I popped smoke in front of him, I popped smoke in front of the enemy using the smoke shells the Chaffee gets. Then, you know, I drove up to him, helped him repair, and offered to pull him out of there. And, you know, there's just so many different things you could do. Teamwork, there's tactics you could try and work out with your team.
Yeah.
You just kind of need to take that initiative and try and get the team together and get something solid going.
The easiest way to see how people are playing, other players, is to observe your map at the start of the battle. You know, you will see that, you know, at 90% of the maps, people are using 2 paths. Even if you have 7, 5 of them, whatever, they just use 2 specific paths, and I don't know, no one is flanking, or one person in the team is flanking, rest is going straight forward and just, you know, don't think on any tactics or anything. You just see how people playing, just watching the maps and seeing that they are going straight, shoot, die, and then complain because I have no other way to play. It's not like that, but yeah.
I mean, if you want to see a game that really, truly has very little teamwork, in my opinion, look at Battlefield. There is
Battlefield has even less team play. But then again, it's really silly to expect a bunch of random people, a bunch of strangers that don't know each other, to just, you know, be like the super team. Yeah. It's impossible. That just doesn't work that way. You know, again, this is not a perfect world we live in. So it's always nice to try. It's always nice to try and coordinate in the chat, but the best thing you can do is just get a squad going, you know, get 4 people in there, and then you can do so much, even if you got like a single vehicle type each, right? So basically you got an SPG, a heavy tank, a medium, and then a light. But I would strongly recommend getting 2 mediums and 2 heavies. That's probably like one of the best combos you can have in a 4-man squad. So you can do so much. I've seen people win entire battles with a single squad that's well coordinated.
Yeah, I mean, it's not so often in tank battle, but in air battle, if you have squad of 4, most probably, I mean, if you are not totally, you know, if you have squad of 4, you just win the battle, because you will cover yourself, your friends, and bite enemy to you know, to make them easier target. So in air battles, it's really visible that there is a good squad, because most probably that team will win.
Yep.
I think that's pretty well said, in my opinion. I know that Star asked, you know, so why does this not work on War Thunder? Is it a player-based problem or a game problem? Personally, and it hurts to say this in some regards, I think it comes down to the player base just not being communicative, I guess the word would be.
I mean, I see it. You cannot say that it's a perfect, because if there are options to not force, because you cannot force team play, but if you can encourage team play, it will be, you know, it will be great. For me, the best team play game was, and will be most probably all the time, Team Fortress 2, because when I was playing, I don't play it anymore, but when I was playing Team Fortress 2, I never care on kills, you know? I was playing my role, and that was great. I was never checking, maybe it was because the leaderboard was different, made in some kind of different way, that you do not care on teams, on kills, on your kill death ratio, but you just play, I don't know, as an engineer or as a spy. You do not care on kills, you care on objective, and that was the best team play for me. And if it will be like that in War Thunder, that people can spawn in, let's say, anti-aircraft vehicles, and they will sit and cover other players all the match, and will be happy from that, it will be great. And I hope that someday we will manage to do that.
Yeah, you can't just solely blame it on the player base. It's not that. It's it's just the way the world is. But what Stona said absolutely correctly is that we should find ways to encourage player base to engage in proper team play. The better the team play, the better it is for everyone, for the player base, for the game itself, and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, but that's an ongoing, thing. Then again, you brought up a pretty good comparison there with Team Fortress. In Team Fortress, you have such variously different classes in the game. Like engineer builds turrets. Spy can turn into he can disguise himself as an enemy player and stuff like this. You can't really do that with tanks, right? You can't really do that with planes. Tanks got even more variety than what you call them. Somebody's spamming hard here.
Oh, these guys are just talking about where they are in Australia and the temperature. It's alright.
No, hold on a sec. I just keep getting bank, bank, bank from Discord.
Oh.
Where's that coming? It's where the. This is weird. I'm sorry.
No, it's alright. So. Just kind of.
Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. It's not a channel.
Oh, it's alright. So aside from, I know, Shawn, you said you did streams in Russian. So aside from, English, what other languages do you speak, as well as you, Stona? Because I know that you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say Polish? I'm guessing that's the main language you would use?
That's my language.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you talk on me or...
Oh, it's a question for both of you. Like, aside from English, what other languages do you know?
Stone, you go first.
Because I speak only Polish and English.
Alright.
I speak Polish, English, and let's say I learned German for a few years, but I can say just few words. It's like a language that I never wanted to learn because World War II, and I know few Russian letters and few Russian words. That's all. And
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm bilingual in Russian and English because I was raised in the United States, and I moved back here to Moscow when I was about 11 or 12 years old, and that's when I began learning Russian in earnest. I had a very thick American accent in Russian up until I was, 16, 17 years old, and I had a lot of problems with the locals, just because of the way I spoke.
Yeah.
I was very popular with the girls because girls like exotic stuff, and just girls really dig you. But boys, they really hate you because girls really like you. Okay, so that was fun. That was fun times. But yeah, I'm fully bilingual in Russian and English in terms of there's really no difference for me, and whether to use Russian or English. It does get mixed up in your head sometimes. Like sometimes I would spontaneously say an English word when I speak Russian and vice versa. It does get kind of confusing in your mind sometimes. But otherwise, I used to study Japanese for a few years. I have very limited understanding of Japanese. I have very limited understanding of Czech, Polish, and Ukrainian. Ukrainian actually I understand, I guess, 95% of it, simply because there's a very similar language to Russian. But I have pretty good understanding of Slavic languages. So I think if Stona starts talking, I can understand about 40% of what he says.
Yeah, it's similar. I mean, many words are similar, and you can just think about it a little, and from context, you will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Slavic languages, man, they're close, they're similar.
Yeah, I only speak full English. I know a little bit of Maori, which is like traditional New Zealand, and I know.
Yeah, the local language.
I can pick out bits and pieces of Japanese. I'm in the process of learning it for my trip over to Japan next year, and I'll be there for a year while I'm there. So that should be something fun to do while I'm over there. But that's all the language I know so far. But yeah. Northern just mentioned that, you guys basically can understand us only in chunks, but that's understandable, I assume that came from Shawn's shout out that the stream's happening, and everybody that's here is, questions are appreciated, whether they're critical.
Yeah, go ahead, guys.
Always shoot us with questions. I run out of questions pretty crazy.
Even if it's a question about a free Abrams, go ahead. I don't mind. I heard that question a bunch of times, but yeah. Again, I know this is not a very big audience, but I would like to apologize for that outburst that I had. Even though I was provoked pretty hard, but I was really in no position to act like that. I should have just shut up. But I didn't, people make mistakes. So, but just again, I want to clarify one more thing. This was my own personal opinion. What I said back then, it's because I began playing War Thunder back in 2014 with a PlayStation 4, and people don't understand what's grinding in with a controller. That's a lot harder. I ground my way all the way up to the mouse with a PlayStation 4 controller way before I joined up with Gaijin, almost a full year before I even began working on War Thunder Tutorials, the original project that landed me a job with Gaijin. Anyway, so before that, I made my way to mouse, and it was bad. The tank, I mean, it just sucks. It was even worse with a controller because once I began playing War Thunder with a mouse and keyboard, I was like, oh, that's how you do it. Okay. I mean, it's playable with a controller, but you got to get really used to it. So I highly recommend mouse and keyboard for War Thunder. Again, you can't really use mouse and keyboard on a couch, so it's totally doable with a controller. But I personally prefer mouse and keyboard. But before that, you have to understand, I'm almost 32. I've been playing MMOs and online games for past almost 20 years. So I played so many of them. So grind for me is not a big problem. I kind of expect high-level stuff, high-level content to be grindy. It's right for me. So that's why I said what I said, and a lot of people really, most of the people that got upset about this, they weren't upset about my outburst as much as they believe that I mock the community by not understanding the grind. I know exactly what grind is. It's just that I don't have that much problem with it because I just played so many MMOs back in the day, and it was always like that for me. So I said what I said simply because, it was my own personal opinion. I could have put it better, without so much emotion, because I understand that, the FBE and parts thing was a major concern for the community, and I shouldn't have really even touched that. But, again, for me, high-level content, grindy, absolutely no problem, because I played a lot of MMO back in the day.
Yeah. And, it's not entirely a bad thing that, what happened, because it did lead to I'm assuming it led to the current FPE and parts change with top tier.
Yeah. It's a lot less of a grind now, which is fine by me. Less grind, better. So, absolutely no problem. So I guess I'm in a way happy that what happened during that live stream kind of helped. It was actually, I guess, one of the reasons that the changes that happened. So Glad to be of help. What can I say? Stona, what do you think?
Related on what? On controllers?
Yeah, the controllers and grind and stuff. What do you think?
I was visiting my friends one time, and he's a PlayStation 4 player, and he just showed me, look, I'm playing your game, and I was, oh, cool. And he gave me a PS4 controller, and you know, I was trying to fly an aircraft, and I crashed, and I said, how you can play it? And he took it, and he was playing really good, and I was like, what? And for me, it's just you need to get used to it. If you start to playing on controller, it will be okay. I mean, I'm playing on Xbox controller on my PC for numerous games, and it's good for me. I don't have a problem. But still, if there is a game that you need to aim and shoot, for me it's easier on mouse. But yeah, I think if you get used to it, you can use controller pretty good.
It's totally doable. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just that War Thunder is a very complex game, has a lot of keys, so it's preferable, you know, to play it with a mouse and keyboard. But you can totally do it without it. So you know, it just makes it harder, especially if you're like a PC gamer. If you're used to, you know, playing on PC games, that will, you know, take more time to get used to. But otherwise, it's absolutely possible.
Yeah. And
I see. Yeah, I see there is a question related to, I mean, is there going to be a fix on M22 rushing cab and getting AH1Z? As we said, we are not game designers, so we cannot answer that question in the way you would like to hear the proper answer, like, yes, we will do this, this, and this to fix it. We cannot answer such questions because we have no power on it. I mean, I will say how I see that kind of questions. I always try to look from the other side, and for me, the solution, let's say, you would like to hear is, yes, we will forbid to take M22 to battle, to cap, and get a helicopter straight from that cap zone. And most probably we'll never do that, because we are really trying to do not forbid taking specific vehicles to battle or limit vehicles in battles, because it excludes some players from the battle, and we are trying to avoid that kind of solution. So if you have other solution that will not hit other players that are not doing that, feel free to suggest something like that. But as I said, we are not game designers, so we are only talking here as a players, or someone like you who is playing that game. And you should take our words like that, not like someone from Gaijin who will said we will never fix it, or it's not a problem. It's not like that. I can see your I can see that you see the problem here, but I cannot see a solution for that.
If you want to get a professional answer, try asking questions that we're professional about. Basically, Stone is a community manager, and I'm a co-producer for Thunder Show. So if you want to talk like more specific about community in general, or Thunder Show, go ahead. Like, we're the right guys to talk to, about this. So, but game design choices, we have no say in this. We're just like other players in that regard. So there's really no point.
I think one thing the guys in chat need to keep in mind is, as you guys have said, we're not game devs. We're not in that kind of field. Like, Shawn's just more of a media relations person. Stone is a head forum guy. I'm just a game master. We can't answer anything regarding bugs. Well, we can answer things with bugs, but we can't, we can't just fix them on the dot. We can't give you any sort of clues to anything coming. We can't, we're not those kinds of people. That's more or less for Q&A stuff when Gaijin asks for it.
There is a solution from Frozen G. I'm sorry, I don't. Most probably I read your nickname wrong. You said remove the ability for vehicles to gain spawn points beyond their BR range. Okay, so let's say I am a dedicated anti-aircraft player, and we have only few anti-aircraft vehicle in the game, and I will spawn in anti-aircraft vehicle, let's say in 5-0 battle, and I will be in AA in, I don't know, 3-0. It's beyond my BR, so you just want to refuse option for me to gain spawn points, because I'm dedicated A player. I'm shooting down, let's say, aircrafts or helicopters or whatever, but I'm 2 battle ratings lower than the rest of the team. I will shoot down 10 aircraft, but for you I will be useless because I am 2 battle rating lower than the rest of them, right? That's why you need to always check the possibilities of your decision. If you will say remove the option to get spawn point from people 2 BR lower, you need to check few scenarios, not only the one it fits. You need to check few other and check if it will not influence other players. That's the problem here. You said it took me 5 seconds to think the solution, but you should take, I don't know, few minutes and create a few different scenarios and check if that solution will not harm other players. That's the biggest problem with thinking on proper solution for that spawning in random vehicle and get the chopper.
Yeah. Just says you can give same spawn points on all vehicles and every BR as planes, but
it's you need to just think on it a little more. If you will find the solution, jump to the forum, as I always say, put the suggestion, and it's not like we don't like that suggestion because it's against the game mechanic we created. It just needs to fit the game and it cannot harm other player. And if it's good, devs are really glad that you put it and suggest that. So feel free. I mean, if you got great solution, feel free to suggest it, and we will check it.
Just like I tell everybody, make sure that when you do your suggestions, you do it in the suggestion thread, and not in the the machinery of war thread, the general discussion thread, because that's not the suggestion thread. You have a much higher chance of getting a suggestion to people if it's in the suggestion thread rather than in the wrong place. And in the wrong place, it's just going to end up getting either moved or hidden in the first place. And I did an entire podcast on, the correct way to do, or not the correct way to do, but the correct place to do suggestions. Because I also had Coke Spray and Salvage with that one, who were two. Well, this senior suggestion mod, and then the Salvage, who's a regular suggestion mod.
Yeah, there is another option, and again, I will be that's why I am the bad guy in the community, because I'm reading the suggestion and I'm making the opposite scenario that will not fit to it. So you said just wait till you will be able to spawn in chopper for, I don't know, let's say 5 minutes of the battle. So let's say I spawn in the tank, I destroyed 2 enemies, and I died, and everything was in 2 minutes. Now I will need to wait 3 minutes to spawn in my chopper, because that's the hard rules you just made. I will not wait 3 minutes, I will just quit the battle and join again, because why I should wait 3 minutes to spawn? That's why you need to always check the different scenarios, not the one it fits. You need to check 10 different scenarios that will not fit to that. If you will find nothing like that, your suggestion is most probably good. Go to the forum, suggest it, we will discuss it.
Place to do it. If you want something changed that you think's not right, then go to the forum. Because everybody says, oh, Reddit's the place they look at, but yeah, they do look at Reddit, but it's not the official place to do things, so to speak. Frozen says, you can add exceptions / rethink the suggestion and make the best out of it, but doing nothing but ignore the situation is not going to help.
We are not ignoring anything. I mean, another problem, okay, battle rating, discussion, all that stuff that people are suggesting, let's say, lower battle rate for that vehicle, put that vehicle on higher battle rate, and if we will not do it, people are saying that we are not listening to them and we are ignoring them. We are not ignoring you, but you need to understand that if we are not agree with you all the time, it doesn't mean we ignore you. We read you, we understand you, but we have different point of view on that situation. and we simply do not agree with you. That's all. It's not like we hate you, we ignore you, we do not care what you think. We have hundreds or thousands of players, and each of them have his own perfect War Thunder, and simply we cannot listen each of you and make the change each of you would like to see, because game will die in 5 days, most probably.
That's a one way of putting it. But yeah, it would go pretty quickly if, you know, every single suggestion was just passed straight in.
There is always a person who will not like it. That's the problem. We need to find the balance between everything, and you know, that's the biggest problem, and that's why some people don't like me, because I'm straight here and I will not.
Yeah, he's got a really tough job. I do not envy Stona, to be honest. And I mean, I had a taste of it once, with the whole, you know, Free Abrams fiasco.
Yeah.
I had a taste of it once, and like, I do not envy Stona. That's a really hard job to, you know, to manage, because whatever you say, people believe this is, you know, the official statement by Gaijin and stuff like this, which is not, you know, might not entirely be true. But still, you get the brunt of it. Then again, there's a very important thing to consider for players. Gaijin's really careful about listening to all feedback, because feedback is very, very, very helpful, really. There's no bad feedback. It's all statistics. So the more statistics you have, the better. The better you can balance the game for the majority of people. But you have to understand that the game has to be good for as many people as possible, so more people can play it. And actually, when such, you know, important gameplay decisions are made, devs always look at statistics that you might not necessarily see, because they have access to all this data that you guys don't. So if some people believe that vehicle A should be given BR X, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And they believe it's right, and there may be a certain percentage of people in the statistics that play this vehicle really well, and it gives them, you know, the idea that the BR should be raised. Well, not to them, but rather to players that fight against these really good players with the said vehicle. They think that we got to boost the BR a bit. But then they don't see the entire picture that devs do see, and devs will always try to consult, you know, the big data, the big chunk of data on every particular vehicle. So BR of a vehicle is actually strongly tied to its game performance by players. So when BR changes, it usually means that the player base has changed in its application. Well, I mean, has different success rate with this vehicle. That's why, you know. So you have to understand that BR is also tied to how well people play this particular vehicle or not. So if people's really bad with the vehicle, it might get its BR slashed or lowered. You know, if people's just, you know, really wrecking the competition with a particular vehicle, it might get its BR raised. So that's also a very important thing to consider. Like the initial BR that's introduced to the vehicle is just basically it's an assumption plus some data from internal testing, but then it gets modified according to how the vehicle acts in the game, you know? So that's what it is. I don't think I'm like breaking the news here, so a lot of people know how that works, but it's just, you know, for a wider audience.
Yeah.
That's also a very important thing to consider. And even if you see all these other players on the forums saying that this vehicle's bad or it's good and stuff like this, you understand that still you only represent a certain minority of people, because the vast majority of players do not ever go to the forums, do not ever go to Reddit, do not ever go to YouTube. Sadly, they just play the game. They don't talk about it. So the only way to communicate with these players is to look at statistics. That's it.
I think that's.
I hope that was not too. I hope that was not too complicated.
It's alright. You know, if people struggle to understand it, I can explain it to them later. You know, I'm always about helping the community when they want help or if they need help with something. I'm not going to help someone that doesn't want to be helped if they're just going to sit there and spoon crap at me, basically.
Yeah.
It's just not worth helping people at that point. But I did see a really good question up here by... There's two of them. First one's by Convict, because I thought this was the more interesting one. But do you have any say in the bug report system, and if so, have you considered changing it?
I can answer. I mean, I'm not a technical moderator, but I know how at least some of the stuff working there. I think no, because the problem with bugs is that that system is created to, how to say it, to filter just not really existing bugs and bugs that are, I don't know how to say, not replicable. I don't know how to call them, but for me that system is good. You said that we put everything on players' backs and so on, but first off, we of course have QA and we have internal guys who are testing everything. But I mean, if you play game more than a month, you know that it's not possible to find all the bugs. So we have that system that we are asking or request the players who is submitting a bug to do it in proper way, with clog, with logs, with, if it's possible, screenshots and good description of the problem. Because next after you submit your bug, technical moderator need to recreate it. That's the biggest problem, to recreate the bug, to understand the bug. And that's why we have such system, because it helps us to do it. We do not have 10,000 technical moderators. We have, let's say, few of them, and they need to recreate the bug. That's the biggest problem here, and that's why I think the system will not change. And if it will evolve, of course it will evolve. It will not evolve in something like you will jump to the forum, you will say, this racket is not working, end of bug report. It will never look like that, because it will be madness. Imagine, it will be madness. So it needs to be like that. I can understand that you will need to sit 10 minutes to do it. And we really, really appreciate that. It's really great that you spend your time and trying to help fix the game. But you need to understand that it needs to be like that, because someone else, not you, but someone else also need to recreate the bug and, you know, try to fix it after that. Not just checking the screen, oh, there is a gap in the ground, we need to fix it. You need to have something more than that. That's why it looks like that. And I'm sorry that you need to spend some time, but we are not trying to force you. We are really appreciate that you are helping us, but that's how it look, and most probably that will look all the time.
Yeah, that's very important to understand. But actually, a lot of these bug reports really help fix the game, make it better, improve it on daily basis. So I know, yeah, it might take time, but if you're doing it, do it right, because you will eventually help make the game better. So if you're lazy, just ignore it. It's easier like that, because Stona, I cannot put it better. Stona said it all.
Yeah, and if you need help trying to get like the optimal bug report sent in, have a look at the forum guidelines. There's ones there that'll tell you what to include in your report, your dxdag and clog files, and if possible, a video really helps with, finding and identifying bugs, from my understanding. But this, it's all there for you to look at if you need to back in it. But I think it's a good system as is. It just, there could be bits and pieces that need work, but at the moment, with the size of the team especially, I think it works quite well. Now, here's another question. There it is. So Tessos asks about that. This is from the earlier conversation where we were talking about the Leo and its BR and, vehicle BRs and such. He wanted to hear our points about the M60 Rise at 9.0 currently. Because everybody else in the game is basically saying that it needs to go down.
Why it's up? Why BR of specific vehicle go up? That's the question.
As far as I know, the Rise has been 9.0 since it was added.
Yeah, I don't remember specific numbers, but as Shawn said, because of the stats. I mean, it sounds really not robotic, but it sounds mechanical. It sounds you hate stats, but that's how it is. I mean, you can be great player and you will doing great on that vehicle, but there are, let's say, 10 other players who have no clue how to play it, but they play it, and we cut some of them, but still from the stats that vehicle is making great, so it needs to be up tiered in battle rating. That's how it looks. I mean, that's why when we have battle rating threads on our forum, when we are saying that a week earlier or 2 weeks earlier that we have proposition for new battle ratings, that's why we always ask you not to type I don't know, BF109 should be this. No, we are always asking you to put some argument so we can read it and we can, let's say, judge it if it's proper. If you will say, I want this vehicle lower because I am playing it and I need to use it to earn Silver Lions, it's not an argument. But if you will said that it's when you compare it to same vehicle on same BR, it's similar, blah, 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 it's some kind of argument that we will read, we will understand, and we can rethink of that change. If, let's say, we decided to change battle rating because of some statistics, let's say, are good for that vehicle, we decide to change battle rating, but after your arguments we can rethink it, and if it's not a really huge difference in stats, we can just stop with that change. We can rethink it again and revoke it. That's why we always ask to argue for your feedback, because we do not want to rely only on stats. We also like to see it from player view, but sometimes it's not possible because stats are so important. In this case, let's say that vehicle is so great in stats that it needs to be put higher on lower. And I am not the one who, let's say, can really argue on vehicle at 900 because I barely play 900 right now. So I cannot tell you why that vehicle is such good there. And sorry, you are talking on win rate, but win rate of who? Of you? Of your friend? We have win rate of all the players in the game. We have stats from whole game, not Thunder skills, not your stats, not stats of your 10 friends. We have stats of all the players in the game. You need to understand that. If you want to bring statistic to discussion on battle rating, we have better stats.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. We do not consider Thunder skill. We do not consider your screens from your profile, because we have that all, and we have that all from all the players. That's why statistics are not something to discuss when you want to argue on battle rating. Statistics are not a proper argument when you want to change a battle rating. We have the stats. That sounds harsh, but that's the
stats are but then again, stats are not the only consideration in BR change and BR modification. Again, as Stona pointed out, that if you can bring good arguments to the forums as to why this vehicle should be BRX or Z or whatever, we also consider that, as long as you guys can make it like a good argument. So that and the big data, the entire statistics of the game running, these are, I guess, two most important factors when considering BR change for any particular vehicle in a game.
Yeah, great example was Japanese Zero. I mean, at the first battle rating proposition, we put few of the zeros. I think 03 BR higher than it, and many people said that it's wrong. They put really good arguments. We rethink the situation and we decide to revoke it. And it's not like we do not listen to you, but that's how it works. And why we do not show stats? I will tell you an example. If we will show you stats, top 3 best tank in the game. Guess what will happen? Spam of that 3 tanks in the battle. Each battle you will see most probably 80% of the team in that tank, because people are like that. People see something is great, they will try to use it. And we want to avoid such situation that people will select their vehicles because of some random statistic they saw in internet. It's not good for the game, because we have more than 1,000 vehicle, and if we will start to publishing stats of the best vehicle in the game, people will start to use it, and many vehicles will be just sitting in a hangar and getting rust. That's what you have sometimes in game like Battlefield or other game where you can select a specific weapon. People are checking statistic in internet, and they see, let's say, that M16 is the best weapon for, I don't know, medic in Battlefield 2, or if I remember, it was M16. And all people are using that weapon, even if they have no clue how to use them, even if they suffer using it, they will use it because it's best, and it break their gameplay, it break their fun, because they think that they are forced to use it because it's the best weapon. That's why we will not publish statistic.
Yeah, and in a lot of cases, you can't necessarily balance a game around certain bits of the player base. It's got to be the entire player base. Because if you start balancing around either the most skilled players or the worst players, that's when things start to get even more unbalanced than what they already were.
Just one more thing related to statistic. A European Canadian said that you are wrong because of stats opinion we cannot share with you. I said it's wrong only if you want to use stats, not like we cannot discuss on battle rating of specific vehicle. It was a specific context. I said that if you want to bring your statistics in discussion of battle rating, it's wrong because we have statistic of all the players. It's not like we are saying we have stats, so you are wrong. No, I am saying that if you want to take stats, your stats, we will be on high ground because we have stats of the all players, not only yours. That's the point of my speech related to statistic. Not that we want to use them all the time and we want to say we have stats, you are wrong. It's not like that.
Yeah. Well, he asked a valid question. What is the reason to keep those stats confidential? Well, and there's the answer right there by Frozen J. Yes, skilled players will exploit it. That's precisely the reason, actually. So they have to stay confidential for that reason alone. Because if you can constantly track what's good and what's not, you can exploit the hell out of it, can't you? You don't really got to be that smart, to do it.
Yeah, and just on top of that, it just opens up a whole can of worms between the player base itself after that point. Because people will complain that certain players, are abusing this vehicle or such, it needs to go down, and then everybody starts fighting amongst each other, and we don't really want that because that's just not good.
Jay Brun is asking SB2M. I mean, I don't know. It's not. I like to argue on that battle rating thread, but I like to argue it to, let's say, force you to put some arguments. So you're asking why one of the SB2M got higher BR than other one. You just need to show us that it shouldn't have higher battle rating, and we will think on that. We will discuss it with you, and if you are right, we will change it. So, it's not like we do not want to listen to you, we ignore you. You simply need to show the problem and support it with proper arguments. By proper arguments, I mean something that it's not, I like that vehicle, or I like the blue color, so it should be different,
Yeah, precise.
Just proper argument, gameplay arguments that you are right here, and we will think on it. It's not like I don't know, devs have some kind of agenda to just put a random battle rating on this vehicle and wait till players will boil. It's not like that. Sometimes we are wrong. I mean, it's not like we are robots, kind or something.
Yeah,
we can be wrong.
We're not these omnipotent gods, you know, that can predict everything. We make mistakes too. So again, that's why big data and, you know, all this player statistics, they're not the only deciding factor in BR of vehicles. So they're just one of the factors.
Yeah. What do you? Oh no, yeah, that was what I was talking about the aircraft folders getting very small improvements, and that's how it began. Yeah. You know.
By the way, European Canadian, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah.
You know him.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I've talked to him a couple of. We actually had him on a Thunder Show podcast recently. He was on the 6th one, I believe. I had him, Napalm Rate, and can't remember who the other person I had on board. I definitely had someone else though.
Wait, there is a new dev block? Which one?
There is a new one? What? Did I miss it?
Hold on.
Super Saber, okay.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. I missed it on it. That's alright, I can go back and look at it.
Jet.
There you go, supersonic turbo fighter, yay,
I
man!
I like how it
Supersonic.
looks. You know, that air take on the front. It's really great.
It's funny.
Looks weird. It looks like a catfish to me.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been catfished by this aircraft now. But it should be great. I think people are gonna... There are some people who will enjoy Supersonic.
Yeah, this thing's got sidewinders. Wow.
That's spicy right there. Prison. Is there any chance...
Guided bombs. Nice. I'm reading the dev blog about it.
It's quite nice.
Oh wow! I can't wait to get bombed by one of those guys.
You gotta get to top tier first.
or get shut down in the helicopter. You know, flying a helicopter with this thing. Yeah.
Yeah. President asks if there's any chance for aircrafts in ground battles to have a different BR than they do for air. For example, you know, the Yak-9T, the PE-8, you know, things with ground pounding capabilities.
I would like to, but I don't know.
Idea.
I mean, it will make a game more complicated to players. I mean, I would like to have it. I mean, it's a good idea from my point of view, but I think it will make a game a little too complicated to random players. That's same like there are suggestions or ideas that we should have a flexible battle rating. So if you have specific let's say bombs on the aircraft, or you have specific shells in the tank, your battle rating should be lower or higher.
Yeah.
It's good idea, but I can imagine the amount of players who have no clue what just happened, why they are fighting each vehicle, and we already have people who do not get the ranks and battle ratings. So I can imagine number of people confused by that. If we will make a flexible battle rating for vehicle because you just put a better shell on it. It's really, from one side of one point of view, it's great. It's a great idea, but from other side, if you are sorry for my random joke, but if you are random John or random Hans or random Jan or whoever who just play the game, have no clue on anything, you just like to play tanks or aircraft, and you will be thrown in higher battle rating because you just select a shell that looks better for you. You will be confused, angry, and so on. So it's really a problem, and that's why I think we do not have it. But maybe I'm wrong. I'm not game designer. I'm just random player.
Riff Fast, you know, or you know, is telling me it's a shit, as in supersonic jets. Better have a sonic boom when it hits Mach 1. And as far as I know, it is, because I do remember seeing a question about it, and they did answer.
Yep. We how to say it? We said that it will be there because it was in Q&A in latest article related to air-to-air missiles and supersonic. We said that there will be. I mean, I don't see a big fuse on that sonic boom because you as a pilot will not see it and hear it. I think you will not, because you are the one who is creating it. It's behind you, so how you can see it, but still. Maybe it will be good, I don't know.
Oh, who knows? They might make it one of those really nice sound pieces that you enjoy hearing when you hit the speed. But
yeah, I mean, it will be most probably good, but I do not see the big, thing on that, making on that. But yeah, it's okay. It's like some people are suggesting we should have, I don't know, physics on chains that are on tank or whatever. It will be great addition, but most probably 99 players will not notice it. It will create a higher performance. I mean, you will need to have a better PC or to make it, and that's the problem with that little things you want to add to the game. We can add everything, but at the end of the day, no one will notice it most probably.
Like, I believe War Thunder put out a video a wee while back, like, top 10 things you probably didn't know about War Thunder, and I remember watching it, I was like, oh damn, there's quite a few things here that I didn't originally know. Convict asks, will the BT-5 ever be able to drive without tracks?
Well, I mean, can it drive without a track without any preparation? So, I don't know if it's...
As far as I know, it had to... once the tracks were removed, it had to install. Well, you mean you had to install additional rubber tires on top of the existing rubber tires that it had. So it had basically 2 pairs per wheel.
So if we think about that in another way, what if they were to add a modification that, let's say it was called, thicker rubber tires or something, and that added on, it just made tires.
I don't think they're compatible, to be honest. But maybe having selectable, tracks or rubber tires.
That's quite a good idea.
Yeah, maybe selectable, tires or tracks. That's might work out. But then again, combined, I don't think that's technically possible with that tank. As far as I know, I'm not an expert, but as far as I know.
They're taking a jolt at the Japanese anime series Gozen Panzer, where a Finnish BT-42 has its tracks blown off by an M26 Pershing, and then proceeds to run around and blow the Pershings up without tracks.
That's gonna be, but talking on Japanese tanks, we have that little tiny boxy Japanese tanks. I do not remember, it's Kami or.
Yeah, the Kami.
Like every other Japanese tank. Little and boxy.
it can be amphibia tank, that little tiny something. And people, from time to time, that random question appears in question to the team on the forum. Why it cannot swim? It cannot swim because, or not swim, float, let's say. Because to float, it needs to have special additions, special pontons on the front and on the rear, and they do not use it during the battle. So it was only for transportation. Let's say you have a river, they put it, they cross the river, and to the battle they remove it because it's limiting its mobility really hard. And that's why we do not have such thing in the game, because it will be totally useless. No one will use it, but it's fun to have it, but no one will use it really, because for what? True.
You could chalk it down to, it's not at the top of the list, but it may come someday.
Yeah, I mean, if devs will have time and work hours, let's say, I think not a problem to implement such thing, but it's not on the top of the list.
This is a big.
All right, guys, this is all I have time for today. I'm gonna have to leave you.
That's all right. I was gonna end it here, and thank you guys for coming on and taking some time out of your busy schedules to come talk to some of the guys at War Thunder.
Anytime.
You're always welcome back. So.
All right. Well, see you later, guys. I'm out.
See ya.
Thank you so much for having me. Okay. Cheers.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, so thanks for inviting me. I hope Now I am even more hated than I was before.
It's alright. They'll get over it with time.
I like it. I just I eat all that salty tears.
Is it safe to say that you're a sadist for?
I'm jealous. I'm just kidding. It was really good. It was nice to be here. So
that's alright.
Hope I will be invited anytime.
Oh,
again.
Anytime that I feel like I should get you on.
It's quick, but it was good.
Alright, anytime I feel like I should get you on, I'll come running.
Yeah, you need to force stomach to do it.
I want to. I have to find some cake he likes and convince him.
That love on the chat only in Broadway, please.
But anyway, thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks. Take care. Bye bye.
Yep. And thanks to the guys in the stream that hung around and asked questions, and to those who even followed, and especially to Riffraff who gave Stona his 1 month subscription to the channel. It'll probably never get used, but you know, it's always appreciated, and we'll have to see who we get on next week for Thundercast. I'm thinking we should delve into the territory of Game Masters, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks for coming by to hang out, and fingers crossed that YouTube allows me to upload with all this anime music I had playing in the background that's probably gonna get me copyright striked. But, you know, it's just thing. But again, thank you for coming to hang out, and I'll see you all next Friday. Have a good one.